But Fall of the Monarchs as a player, I think that's where my voice really comes out as to, the history of me as a player and playing 100% what it is I want to play on guitar, which I started on drums in the band. Never played drums in a band ever, but we didn't have a drummer, and it was just me and Alex Sears. And my band Veered had kind of like dissipated. So Alex had just moved to town, and we started jamming. He was in Veered for a minute, fell apart, but I was like, well, I'm not going to pass up the situation of playing in a band with Alex Sears. Great keyboard player. And so I would play drums and he would play on synth and we would just jam and noodle around. And then Joe Knoebel moved to town, started working at the brewery. And of course, why not have Joe come and play? And then we found a bass player that I've known since middle school. I met him the first time I went up and talked to him. I heard he was a great bass player and that he could play the Seinfeld
nice.
theme song.
Yeah.
And this is like, 8th grade or 9th grade. And I was like, hey, I heard you play bass. Can I come over and listen to you, like watch? Because I just wanted to see somebody play the bass like that. Never heard of anybody playing bass that well, especially someone in my age group. So he joined the band, and eventually I was still learning how to play drums. I had a lot of power behind it, and I was excited to play on the drums. But ultimately, I was still learning how to write songs on the drums, how to structure it. I was going off pure emotion and stuff like that. Eventually, we were kind of hitting a wall with like our perfection, because we wanted to make our music sound a little bit tighter. And I can't play to a click, let alone, track with headphones. It would be my first time. So we decided to invite Brad Elliott, formerly with Cope, and was their last touring drummer. Brought him in and hit it off perfectly. And then eventually Alex moved back here to Jacksonville. So now it used to be more of like a Pink Floyd meets punk rock type of thing. But Alex definitely drove a lot of the like chordal changes and the Rhodes and organ sounds that gave it a really close to Pink Floyd-y vibe. And without that there, it's more guitar. So now it's closer to like post-rock, psychedelia. I don't know. It's hard to describe at this point.
What's the band dynamic like when you guys are writing, or just as far as like the roles go?
I've tried to keep it as democratic as possible. That's kind of something I'm working on currently. Pretty much like a garage band. We get together on Mondays, we hang out, we jam, mostly just jam. And then eventually we record all our sessions, multi-track them, and then I'll go back and, pluck out stuff that sounds good or make tags along the way and then kind of mix those down just roughly, send that to the guys in a Dropbox. And then somebody might be like, oh, we should play that again. And then that'll become like a heavier part of our jams. And then eventually it becomes a song. And we record each take of it as we're developing it. So like one song, we have a song called Wish Her Name Was Pete. And we just knocked out an ending for it just through us jamming. And we were at the end and like we just kind of like started doing something that we hadn't been doing. And I was like, no, we can't let that go. So we went back to it and we, wrote that ending real quick. We're getting quicker, I would say. I've got a music mentor, I guess it's just music mentor, KJ Saka from Pendulum, the drummer. He's been
From Pendulum?
Yeah, I meet with him weekly on Zoom.
Wait, I was about to say, it's like, he fucking lives in Dunedin?
No, but he did come to the brewery and do a performance. But I'm talking about the drum and bass drummer?
Yeah.
He also played with Conspirator.
I didn't know he played with Conspirator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Pendulum is an awesome fucking drum and bass. Do you know Pendulum? Like,
No.
Drum and bass rock band. It's the guys from Knife Party. That's their modern, like their more recent, I would say, like popular act.
Okay.
But Pendulum's like live rock band drum and bass from England.
Okay.
And so KJ gives me a lot of, he's taught me drums, he's taught me Ableton, and now I've just got him as a music mentor because he's just a wealth of knowledge.
That's a hell of a fucking musical mentor.
So he, asked me what I'm trying to do and gives me homework. And so my homework recently was to try to delegate a little more in the band, take a little more control, have some goals, try to get the guys to set goals together. So that's what I've been doing Headstrong, is just trying to make more things happen. So you asked me, how do I do as much as I do? It's writing it down and planning it, right? So like you set a plan, you got to do it or lose it.
Right.
And so I'm trying to instill that within the guys.
That's a really smart way to function as a group, because we've been doing the same thing as well with Side Hustle, where we sit down and we write goals and, I think
smart goals,
obtainable goals
That's
to
part
kind
of
of reach.
smart.
Yeah.
That's the A.
Yeah.
Capital A.
Yeah, big A.
And it's helped with just keeping everybody motivated, I think, because then we have like a little bit of direction. And I think it's a big part. And also like you were saying, delegating. is a big thing because like one person can't do everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been such a big help.
I've felt like basically the conversation with KJ started with me saying that I felt like I was taking on a lot of hats and roles. You know, I do all the graphic design, I do all the promotion. You know, beyond them sharing the event and stuff, I do the booking, I'm doing the set lists, I'm coming up with ideas as much as possible for how we can succeed with our music and how we can get it out there. You know, like setting a date for recording. And I tell them, I'm like, if you guys are happy just getting together on Mondays and making music, I'm right there with you. And then maybe one day that won't be enough for one of us and we'll have to figure that out. But if we all are in this together, you got to have a reason to be there. And so giving out, like having everybody have a task or a specialty beyond just the guitar or the drums or bass or anything keeps us, occupied, keeps us excited, keeps us growing.
It makes everyone feel like they're buying in on a different level too, I think,
100%.
Yeah. And do you feel like your like kind of running Dunedin has helped with kind of taking on a band leader role, like as a leadership role in any sense?
Like you asked me if I'd ever been to, like went to college for business. My only management skills are band management skills. I don't think I could do well managing a team of 30. So I have to delegate to different management, like a kitchen manager, brewery manager. And so those are, to me, little bands, little ensembles. It's more of like becoming more of a snarky puppy or an orchestra at that point. You've got your string section, you've got your woodwinds, you've got the timpanis, you've got the percussion. And I try to play the role of the director. Everybody's practicing and doing their work on their own, but when it comes showtime, you just got to make sure somebody's keeping the click and keeping time and making sure that people are being held accountable.
Totally.
Creating the rules for that, the rule sets for accountability.
Totally.
So I'd say, 100%. Kind of goes both ways.
Right.
I learned my management skills in high school by having a punk band and trying to make it,
Right.
at 15. Like, what that means back then? It means fucking off and hoping for the best. Having fun and hoping somebody finds you and says, hey, here's a bag of money and a record deal.
Right.
Did it work out?
Like you don't even know. No, I went to college for philosophy and religion.
Well, I just thought maybe it
where
did.
are you stripping now?
But yeah, it's definitely. I try to use everything from both sides. Everything's just one experience for me.